The driveway was usually a desolate expanse of cracked asphalt, a testament to our neglect, mirroring perhaps the growing emptiness in our marriage. Tonight, however, it was a chaotic jumble of cars, not just cars but his cars, three of them gleaming under the sodium glare of the street lights, a cherry red Porsche, a matte black Range Rover, and a sleek silver Tesla. My blood ran cold. I knew those cars. I'd seen them parked outside the exclusive Italian restaurant where I'd painstakingly tracked her movements for the past 3 months. The restaurant where she claimed to be attending a conference. My wife Elena was standing at the end of the driveway, a picture of carefree elegance. A designer handbag swung from her shoulder, her perfectly coiffed blonde hair catching the light, the silk scarf around her neck, a gift from me for our anniversary, seemed to mock the betrayal swirling in my gut. She was oblivious, blissfully, terrifyingly oblivious. The slam of my car door echoed in the sudden stillness. Elena had her smile faltering as she saw me. The carefully constructed facade crumbled, replaced by a flicker of something akin to fear but mostly guilt, a shallow, superficial guilt that didn't quite reach her eyes. David, she breathed, her voice laced with a practice sweetness that grated on my nerves. You're back early, I repeated, my voice low and controlled, a dangerous calm spreading through me. Early? I tracked your conference, Elena. I followed you to the restaurant. I watched you. Her smile vanished completely, replaced by a mask of forced composure. David, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I cut her off, my voice rising in volume. A reasonable explanation for 3 expensive cars belonging to the same man parked in my driveway. Is that the reasonable explanation you're going to give me? The fear was there now, unmistakable in her eyes. The carefully cultivated veneer of sophistication began to crack. She opened her mouth to speak, but I stepped closer, my voice a venomous hiss. Don't even try. I saw you. I saw him. I saw the way he looked at you, the way you laughed, the way you touched him, and you thought you could just waltz back in here all nonchalant after spending God knows how long with that man. The anger that had been simmering for months, years, even boiled over. It wasn't just the infidelity, it was the lies, the deceit, the blatant disrespect. It was the gradual erosion of our marriage, the slow, agonizing death of a love I believed in with all my heart. He's a client, she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. A very important client. It was business. I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound that echoed in the night. Business? Is that what you call it now? Business trips to expensive restaurants, business trips involving passionate kisses and whispered secrets. The words were sharp, designed to cut to wounds. She tried to touch me, her hand reaching out, but I flinched away, the gesture repulsing me. Don't, I said, my voice thick with emotion. Don't you dare touch me. I turned my back on her, my heart pounding. The 3 cars symbolized more than just her betrayal. They represented the shattered pieces of my life, the dreams we'd shared, the future I'd envisioned. They were a monument to her selfishness, her disregard for everything we built. I walked towards the house, ignoring her frantic calls inside. I moved with a purpose born of cold, calculated anger. I grabbed my phone and began making calls. The first was to my lawyer. I laid out my plans for divorce, the details of the property division, the custody arrangements for our dog Buster. It was swift, efficient, businesslike, in stark contrast to the emotional turmoil swirling inside me. Then I called my accountant. Then I called a moving company. Elena's desperate pleas and sobbing were a background hum to my carefully orchestrated dismantling of our lives. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my life, my dignity, my sanity. It was about severing the poisonous tendrils that had been slowly strangling me. The next few hours were a blur of packing and phone calls, each one a carefully placed brick in the wall I was building between us, between her and the life she had so carelessly thrown away. The following day was even more brutal. I filed for divorce. I initiated proceedings to freeze her assets. I had meticulously documented everything over the past 3 months, her expensive lunches, her designer clothes, her frequent trips, even the lavish gifts she'd received from her client. My lawyer was pleased. The evidence was overwhelming. Elena's world began to crumble. The man whose name I discovered was Marco was shocked by the speed and thoroughness of my actions. He believed in Elena's lies, her assurances that she was separated from me. Now faced with the impending legal battle and the revelation of her deception, he distanced himself. The expensive cars, symbols of her supposed success, became a cruel reminder of her betrayal. Words spread quickly among her social circles. Her carefully constructed image, the perfect wife, the successful businesswoman, shattered like a dropped vase. The Whispers started the sideways glances, the ostracization she had built her life on a foundation of lies and deceit, and, now that foundation was collapsing, I watched it all unfold from a distance, a grim satisfaction settling over me. It wasn't vindictive pleasure, it was the quiet, somber satisfaction of self-preservation. I had been hurt, betrayed and humiliated, but I had found the strength to rebuild my life, to reclaim what was rightfully mine. The anger was still there, a simmering ember beneath the surface, but it was now tempered by a sense of peace, a quiet resolve. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. Elena walked away with a significantly smaller portion of our assets than she'd expected, a bitter consequence of her deceit. She was left alone, stripped of her luxury, her social standing, and the man she thought would beat her ticket to a life of ease. She had played a dangerous game and she had lost. I, on the other hand, found peace. The house felt empty, yes, but not in a painful way. It was a clean slate, a blank canvas on which I could paint a new life, free from the toxicity of her betrayal. Buster thankfully stayed with me. His unwavering love and loyalty were a balm to my wounded soul. One quiet evening, months after the dust settled, I sat on the porch, a glass of wine in my hand. The driveway was empty. The silence was profound, but this time it wasn't filled with the ghosts of our failed marriage. It was a quiet, peaceful silence, a testament to the new chapter unfolding before me. I had learned a harsh lesson about trust and betrayal, but I had also discovered the strength and resilience I never knew I possessed. My heart ached, yes, but it also beat with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. The world had crashed down around Elena, but for me the dawn had finally broken.